Hi, friends. I'm Courtney. I'm a performer, speaker, and a writer. I'm a mama to 3 crazy boys and a super sweet dog. I decided 12 years ago that I needed to create a business that worked for me instead of me working for it. I'm a multi passionate entrepreneur who may be considered a serial entrepreneur by some. But then I realized that all of my businesses focused on connection, community, and creating an incredible experience. I cannot wait to share with you how to make small but mighty changes in your life to affect your overall well being and create a life and business you want to get up in the morning for. That's right, my friends. I am the Renaissance Mama. Hi, friends. It's Courtney, the Renaissance Mama, and I am so happy to have you here today. Today, we're chatting about a subject that has really just inspired me for the last little while. We're chatting all about momentum, and this could be momentum in your business, this could be momentum in your life if you're making a change, but we're also chatting about what happens when you don't have time to focus on all that momentum. You don't want it to stop, but you have a bit of a slower season. So I think this is probably the perfect time to talk about it because as I've shared with you all the last few episodes, is that summer for me means family time. And I spend a lot of time with my boys and my husband and my dog, and we're, busy doing many, many different things. So I know, and I've purposely done this for the last number of years, that summer is a bit of a quieter season. But you never want to lose all of that momentum and hard work that you've already put into it. So that's what we're chatting about today. So I'm going to hop right on into it. So for me, first of all, I want to chat about sort of my definition of momentum. And I'm going to be talking about business, but like I said, it could be in life as well. So for me, momentum is that thing that is just what's making you grow. It's like if you're putting all that work into everything, things are starting to click, things are starting to happen. You can feel sort of a shift in this energy. If momentum is on your side, it's like a snowball effect. Like something that is happening is so awesome and you can feel it in the energy. It's so amazing. I have been feeling that in the last few months with my podcast. I could see the numbers growing with my Instagram. I spent some time where I really focused on how to grow Instagram. And within a few weeks, I had an extra 1,000 followers. But that's because I was putting in the time and the effort and making the reels and connecting, and it took a lot of work. So the momentum was there. To me, that momentum is like, yeah, you've done it. You're making it happen. Things are working. Congrats. It's like your little cherry on top of the sundae. Momentum is amazing. But like I said, momentum can stop. And if we take a break, you sometimes lose the momentum and then you have to start all over again, which can be extremely frustrating. I think another reason that momentum is so amazing is for me in business and in life. It means that I'm focused on one certain thing, and all those other areas of my business and my life are also focused on that thing. So things are happening because I'm talking about, whether it's a project or a new event or an upcoming product. I'm sharing it, I'm talking about it. All those things are kind of revolving around it. So then it makes it happen. Things happen. Things don't happen when you sit around and at home. Like you don't start a business and go, I hope someone's gonna buy something from me soon, right? It doesn't work like that. You need to take action. You need to create opportunities. You need to make things happen. And momentum, once things are happening, it pushes you along. It just keeps you moving along. But what we're talking about is how, after spending all of that time and energy and creating that momentum, if you want to slow down, take your foot off the gas a little bit, how do you maintain that momentum? Is it possible? That's what we're looking into today. All right, I hope you're ready for it then. So, when you've decided, okay, it's going to be a bit of a slower season, I want to maintain my momentum, the first thing you need to do is you need to realize that this version of momentum is going to look very, very different from what you're used to. If you are launching a new product or you're creating an event or you're doing all these really exciting things, I find like we have a checkbox of things that we do to make sure all those things are happening. And then we're sharing it and we're talking and we're doing it. So that momentum and that energy, it's electric. You can feel it. It's kind of crazy. It's nuts. This momentum is not going to be that. If you think that momentum is like, you're running, you're going, this momentum is a bit of a slow down walk. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not focused, and it doesn't mean that we're not accomplishing things. I think that's one of the things that I really had to get over. In my head, if I wasn't feeling that go, hustle energy and that momentum and that push and that drive, I felt like I was not getting things done. So that's the first thing. You really have to realize that the momentum we're talking about now, it's going to be different. It's going to look different. It's going to feel different. And that is okay. That's the purpose. We want it to be slower. We want it to be, a little bit more focused on different things. That is what's going to happen. So give yourself grace. Let yourself know that you are still getting things done. Your momentum is still growing. It just might not be that super fast speed that you're used to. It might be a little bit more slower. It might be you're nurturing relationships. It might be you're working behind the scenes. So the whole energy is going to feel very, very different. All right, so number 2 during this slow season, how you want to keep the momentum is you want to create some really specific goals for this season. Hey, who knows? Why don't you start with one goal? One goal that you want to achieve during this slower season, and be really mindful with this goal. If you know you don't have tons of time during this season of work or life, then don't make a goal that's going to be super time committing, right? My goal, I told you I was working on getting some more Instagram followers, making some more connections, getting some more engagement. That took a lot of time. So that's not something that I would probably do in a slower pace, or if it was a time that I knew I wanted to take, like I said, not a break, but a slowdown. So some great goals that you could set during a slower season is taking the time to really reconnect with your audience. Really connect with different people. Maybe you want to reach out to your audience, ask them some really important questions. Maybe you're looking at more of the behind the scenes. Maybe there was something you just had happen that you kind of want to review, like what happened there. There's so many times I have this huge event or do something and I move on to the next thing that I never take the time to stop and like review the big event, right? So maybe that's something you could do in your slower season. But I would definitely suggest making a goal or 2 or 3 that really fit for that slower season and to keep that momentum going. So number 3, and this one's important, well, they're all really important. You want to keep your most important commitments. So if you have said to your audience, I'm going to put out a weekly blog or a weekly podcast or a weekly email or even a daily thing, but hopefully it's a weekly thing you want to commit to during the slower season. Weekly, I can handle. Like myself, I said, I'm going to put out my weekly podcast, my weekly show. I am connecting with you guys every week. I want to make that happen. So that is my most important commitment right now. And there are times when I kind of adjust maybe the time something comes out, or maybe something happens where I have to, go with the family or do something else. But I still make sure that I have something out to my audience once a week, because that's the commitment I have made. So to me, that's one of my most important commitments. And there's times when I put out my show and I am sharing it with everybody and I'm on all the socials sharing. Maybe I'm not doing that second step during my slower season, right? Maybe I'm producing the content, I'm putting it out there, but I'm not taking the time to really push it out there. And that's fine. I feel like as long as I am doing what I said I was going to do and I'm committing and I am being consistent, that those most important commitments are happening. So really look at what are some of the things that you've been doing consistently that you want to continue to do consistently. And maybe it is like, if it's social media in particular, I would say maybe look at how many times you're posting and see if there's any way you can reduce it a little bit. If there's something you can do, weekly content, keep that. But if you notice it's something that's daily and you don't have time to even, schedule it, maybe it's something to look at for the slower season to just take it back a bit. Number 4, this is a great thing you can do in a slower season, how to maintain your momentum. This is the time for you to connect with your audience. So this is the time to you could possibly reach out to your audience, ask them questions, send them surveys. Maybe this is through your social media, maybe it's through an email. It doesn't have to be every week. Maybe this is just a time that you're really slowing down and seeing, are they liking your content? What is some of their favorite things? What do they want to see more of? What do they want to see less of? Are you able to look at some of your numbers and really understand why something is getting much more views and why something isn't? These are all very difficult questions, but they're also really important questions to ask, especially when we have a moment to kind of stop and reflect. Your ideal clients and audience are the best people to ask what they want because they are them. So even if you could book a one-on-one call with them or send them a few quick survey questions, it is a great way to really understand what your people want and if you are giving it to them. Number 5 goes along the same lines, but a great thing to do while you're trying to keep momentum, but you're also in a slower season of life, is just share. Share with your audience what you're up to. And it doesn't have to be a picture perfect reel that takes you, a super long time to edit. No, it can be a quick little pic of me reading a book while I'm sitting on the beach. And say, hey friends, I'm thinking of you. Here's what I'm up to today. Taking a break. What does your break look like? Right? Just sharing with your audience. It gives them an idea of what you guys are really like in the real world. And that's why people love social media, because they feel like they're like a little fly on the wall checking out what's happening in this person's world. This is how they build that know, like, and trust factor, is when you open your world to your audience and say, hey, this is what I'm up to. And like I said, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be all those things. It can be you, and that is absolutely perfect. So find a moment here or there to share. And my biggest tip is when you're sharing, especially on social, don't feel like you have to take the picture, post it right then, think of the copy, think of the hashtags, think of all the things. No. Take a few pics when you feel the moment is right, and then wait till later to post it, right? So enjoy your life, enjoy the moment, enjoy what's happening, and post later or schedule later, right? You don't have to stop the moment to post. Just take that moment and enjoy it. But really take this time to share and connect with your audience, because that is going to be kind of the momentum that they are going to love the most. Okay, number 6, and this one can be really hard for some people, but if you are on a slower season, you may want to slow down a little bit on your social media. I know, you're like, Courtney, you're trying to talk about momentum. I can't slow down right now. I've just started this train going. Things are happening. And I get that. I do. But you've got to know where you can take from and where you can give, and what are the most important things happening in your business. I also feel like social media will be there, right? So maybe if you're posting X amount of times a day, is there any way you can scale it back a bit? Is there any way you can schedule some of your social media a little bit more? When I was doing my reels every single day, I had to stop. Yes, the momentum was there. It was awesome, but it was almost too time consuming. Other things needed to get done. But I also know, you know what, in a few months, I could start that momentum again. I could get that big, crazy, energy momentum going. But for now, I would just pick and choose some of your favorite ways to share on social. If you really notice when you post a reel once a week or every few days that you're getting engagement, I would say continue that. If you noticed you're posting a post here or there and you're getting lots of engagement, I would say continue that. If you notice you're hopping on Facebook and getting people answering your questions, I would kind of pick and choose what's going to work for you during this slower season. And remember, I told you it's not going to look like the busy season. We don't want it to look like the busy season because this is not that. This is your time to keep momentum going, but take a little breather. So try as you can to slow down a little bit on that social media. All right, number 7. And this can help you when you're like, I don't know what else to post on social media because I'm slowing down, right? If you have a launch going and you have a product or an event, it's easy to post. It's easy to create things because you're like, this is happening, that's happening. It's so easy to keep it all connected. But when you're like, I'm slowing down right now, it's hard to share. So for me, and this one's really important, is knowing what's coming next in like the big picture of things. So looking at your schedule, maybe a few months ahead, and you can start giving your audience kind of tips and little secrets of like tidbits of like, guess what might be happening soon, or I'm really thinking about this. Maybe throw out a poll or two of like, hey, I'm thinking about this idea or this idea. What are your thoughts, right? So not only are you engaging your people, but you are really just throwing things out there and seeing what's happening, but knowing ahead of the time, like, okay, I'm going to work on this maybe in the next few months, but right now I'm taking a break. But in the next few months, so you're still almost like slowly building that momentum. It's happening. People are getting excited. Who doesn't want to be involved in a secret? If you tell your audience this is just for them, who doesn't love that, like being introduced, being that little, excitement of learning what could potentially be next? Number 8, and this is one of my favorite things to either put out in content or put out on social media, but especially when it's a slower time and I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I posting? Is I love reviewing something that's happened in the past little while. So I love doing like maybe top 10 moments or one of my favorite past podcasts or past shows or past blogs, and really highlighting again. So not only are you repurposing content, which hello, I love to do, but you're also like showing people again, like, hey, look what else I made. Like, I did this. This was awesome. Remember when you liked this? And maybe there's something that you've created and you shared out there and your opinion has changed. And that's amazing too, because that happens. So you can say, you know what, I wrote this blog X amount of years ago, but it's funny because I've got a story about something else that might fit with that same content. So anytime you could kind of review something you've done, share it again with the world, share top moments, share top memories, it's still just connecting with your audience. So they're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they're brand new and they're like, man, I like this girl. I like what she's showing up about. I like what she's sharing. Yes, I'm all interested. But it doesn't take you tons of time to share and review something you've done in the past. All right, number 9, this is the time in your slower season you really want to reach out to your tribe. So this could be your community that you're building and you're connecting with people, we're sharing with them. Maybe, like I said, maybe your goal is to like build your tribe a little bit bigger, reaching out to friends and ideal customers and audience, and ask them to invite other people. Ask them to share if they like your content, share if they like, anything you're up to. Ask your tribe to help you out. And maybe you could in turn help some other people out too. I love when business owners and everybody just helps each other out. Like, it's so amazing when I hop on somebody else's show or they come on mine. that's something else I have to share with you guys in a minute. But I just love how that back and forth, it just makes life so much better. We're not in competition. We are working together. We are creating, a community of people, like-minded people, and really kind of connect with them and make sure that tribe is there. They're being heard. You are, you're giving them what they want, and you're creating that tribe. And my very last tip on how to keep momentum going when you're in a bit of a slower season is to look for your inspiration. Listen to podcasts, watch shows, model after people that you are truly inspired by. See even little things that they're doing and see if there's anything you can copy, something you can bring back to your business that you're like, I love when this person does this. I love when this person does that. Make it your own and share it as well. So really take this time. I've been reading some awesome books lately. I've been obviously listening to some of my favorite shows and my favorite podcasts, really getting inspired. Because although I know I'm taking a little bit of a slower season right now, I'm also ready and getting pumped and energized for what is next. Because what is next is going to be amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. I hope you all are getting some time to kind of relax and enjoy your people, your family, your friends, your pets, whatever you're up to. I hope you are getting some time to really enjoy life, maybe have a bit of a breather. And I hope this episode is going to help you keep that momentum going, even if you're not really going as hard as you can right now. So I told you, I've got some special guests coming up in the next few weeks that you are not going to miss. Some of these are busy mamas. Some of these are busy entrepreneurs. Some of these are busy mama entrepreneurs, and they are amazing. They've got incredible stories to tell, and I know you are going to absolutely love it. So before we leave today, because I always like to ask before we leave today, I always like to ask you a question. So my question is, how would you spend your slow season off? What's one thing you really want to do? All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me, and I cannot wait to chat with you again next week. Bye for now, friends.